Well, we are learning new details tonight on the indictment of former President Trump. The former president is expected to be arraigned Tuesday in New York City. NBC News has learned there may be as many as 30 counts of document fraud related charges in that indictment. The Manhattan District Attorney's investigation centers on alleged hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign, and also how that payment was documented. The former president's attorney says he will not take a plea deal and there is no crime.
He's ready to be combative on something that he believes is an injustice. His knees don't buckle.
This is a affirmation of the fact that no one should be above the law.
Trump still faces separate investigations over classified documents and alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The former president has been a frequent visitor to Michigan and has built up quite a following on parts of Metro Detroit.
So from Florida to New York to Detroit, law enforcement on guard for possible protests, especially after the events of January 6th, of course, on Capitol Hill. Grant Harm's been talking with police. Let's find out what we're hearing. Grant?
Well, Devin, Karen, Michigan is no stranger to protests on behalf of the former president. You can remember at the beginning of the pandemic, he made Governor Whitmer a target, and that led to protests at the state capitol, several of them, as well as protests on the evening of the election in 2020. This time around, local police are saying they are once again paying attention to what's being said. With the former president expected to appear in court on Tuesday of next week, there have already been calls to protest from national conservative figures. The calls conjure images of protests in recent years, including after the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade and the killing of George Floyd. Police in Michigan taking note, reviewing their policies and saying they're ready for anything. In a statement today, the Detroit Police Department saying in part, in the wake of the recent indictment of former President Donald Trump, we have reviewed our civil unrest strategy supported by members of our community and stand confident our plan will ensure the safety of all within the city of Detroit. In a text, a spokesperson for the Michigan State Police saying they don't have set plans but are ready, saying nothing specific for that event, but we are always prepared for any event that may bring protests. Local 4 analyst Darnell Blackburn breaking down how police could prepare this weekend.
Maybe barricades at federal and state buildings, making sure that if there are protesters, they get in contact with somebody specifically and talk to the protesters.
Blackburn also says their worries are likely low.
Maybe some state capitol buildings and things of that nature, but on a local level here within the city of Detroit or within the outlying suburban areas, I don't think that it's a huge concern for them as much.
Now, right now, there are no formal protests being planned, at least none that I have seen. That is something, though, that we'll be closely watching over the course of this weekend as we look to next Tuesday. In Detroit, Grant Herms, Local 4.
All right. Thank you, Grant.
Tonight on ABC Nightly News, we'll have team coverage coming up on the indictment of the former president, why some legal experts say he might be able to beat these charges. There's also at least one former Republican governor who says Trump should now drop out of the 2024 presidential race. So it all starts at 6:30 right after this newscast.